Welcome back, everyone, and we're here starting a game that is almost old enough to gamble. It's Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and indeed a gamble it was, the final title released by the ill-fated Troika games. A janky yet beloved classic, this game is often treated like Deus Ex with fangs, and not without reason. The story behind this game is almost as interesting as the one it tells. Like an Acronox, it's a very unpolished gem, hopelessly kneecapped at launch by bugs and performance issues. It required some pretty extensive post-release patching to be in a halfway playable state, and sadly the studio met its own final death 4 months later in early 2005. Despite this, it met some critical acclaim and steadily found a cult fan base over the years. For many, including myself, this was their first introduction to the world of darkness, and I think it works very well as a primer on top of just being a fun, flexible vampire action game. It's well written, it's got some sharp dialogue and memorable characters, excellent voice acting, some really good for the time facial animation, which I'm sure has aged brilliantly, and even with the game itself being a... sharp. Oh, we will get some fang puns in, I promise you. But yeah, even with the game itself being a glitchy mess, it's still kind of fun to play. The systems don't quite work, but it has good structure, it encourages exploration, it feels satisfying to build your vampire from a nobody to, well, we'll get to where you end up. Technical matters first, however. We are running this with the latest version of the unofficial patch, which restores a bunch of content and tries its level best to de-jank the game. We're now optimized for widescreen, or about as well as a mid-2000s game can be, and it turns out the patch is kind of necessary on modern operating systems. I could not get this game to work from a normal install. Not from Steam, not from GOG. Installed the patch, and we're working like a charm, so go figure. Anyway, there's a long list of changes and content adds, some of which are optional. There's a core installation if you'd like to keep it reasonably close to the original game. I know this game like the back of my hand, so I included the whole thing, and I'll try to point out where there are significant differences. We'll also be doing a challenge I discussed in a poll before, where I do my level best to play as literally me, as in the physical attributes, logical deductions, and ethical constraints that would affect me, the guy sitting here playing this. We're role-playing, in short. Now, that sounds simple in theory, but we're taking it one step further. The following stipulations apply. Average strength but good agility, reasonably durable but poor perception. Conflict averse, avoiding confrontation and combat where feasible. Reasonably charismatic, but no intimidation, effectively zero seduction. Literally me is photogenic, but he has no game. Doesn't fully understand vampire lore or politics, will try to avoid actions he doesn't fully understand. Some technical aptitude and familiarity with firearms, but again, not much of a combat build. Generally law-abiding, doesn't start fights unless absolutely necessary. Doesn't steal except from confirmed hostels or abandoned locations. Periodic trespassing is allowed, but will require a compelling reason. Quest rewards are not enough, the quest needs to be something I would actually willingly do. And lastly, absolutely adores rats and will not feed on them under any circumstances. Basically, I'm going to be an extremely un-vampire vampire. We'll see this is even remotely viable. Let's get rolling. Alright. So, yeah, the introduction screen lets you... Monsters make me hide. Perhaps I'll eat myself alive internally, but it's there left for me to be. Yeah, we're definitely in the, we are definitely in mid-2000s mall goth level of edgy here. But good to see you, Ivory. Settle in. So yeah, we can, if we want, answer a series of questions and it'll sort of gin up a character for us, but I always prefer going right to the character sheet and doing things myself. So yeah, we will probably be going with a more technically inclined Toreador. And... hang on a second. Oh! Shit, I forgot to look... Okay, we're hitting a problem already, a mistake on my part, I apologize. I forgot to launch from the unofficial patch launcher. So, just a second, let me fire that right back up. Alright. Yes, here we go. So, yeah, this is a major change right here. Spoilers, replay some Bloodlines missions as a human hunter from the Society of Leopold. This almost certainly is not cut content. This feels like something that was input as a fan mod. There's actually a pretty sizable modding community for this game, and it's a little hard to tell where cut content ends and fan content begins. This feels like something that some fan put in. We will not be playing that, obviously, but I'm very curious that that's an option. Anyway, this is something that was originally in the game, this history selection right here, where you have a variety of options that give you kind of a background and change a few things about the character. Like, if we choose teamster here. You believe in collective bargaining to get justice for working families, and if that fails, there's collective wrench beatings. Swaps the priority order of your attributes to physical, social, and mental. And that is going over here with the abilities. This is basically determining your starting attributes. Physical, social, mental means we get 2 physical, 1 social, and 0 mental to start with. That won't affect how we can develop down the line. That's just sort of a starting guideline for the character. But there are other options that go a little bit further, like, beautiful monster, you're ruled by your passions, and some of them ain't pretty. People find you absolutely mesmerizing, but you are always too self-absorbed to bother with normal human repartee. Your presence effects last longer than other Toreador, but you can never raise wits above 3, and are more likely to frenzy when things aren't going your way. So, interesting little quirks here. None of them really jump out at me as far as literally me build, so we'll just be leaving that blank. But anyway, let's go to the sheets. So, yeah, we're going to be reasonably charismatic, not terribly manipulative. And let's see, perception, no. That's going to be an issue as range combat comes in, but we'll save that, we'll put that off as long as we can. Wits, however, let's see, with combat, defense, and hacking, intelligence, research, and intimidates. This feels like a good starting one. There are skill books in the game, and that's basically where the research feed comes in. And I don't think there's enough content in the game to max absolutely everything, but usually if you pick a few core skills and statistics to focus around, you'll be getting max level for those, and maybe getting a few others into a reasonably good state by the end of the game. Anyway, talents. Let's see, intimidation, subterfuge, that's mostly a seduction. No, we won't be doing that. Dodge will be very handy, however. We'll put a little bit of brawling. Alright. This will be more my jam here, and unfortunately we're only starting with 1. So, firearms, melee, security, stealth. Well, me being literally me. I don't really know that much about lockpicking, to be perfectly honest. We'll probably just start with firearms. Okay, computers, definitely. Finance, not much of a haggler. Investigation, again, that's a perception thing. Inspection basically just highlights stuff with a loot glint. You can still very often pick stuff up. I don't know if the patch is going to add more stuff that can only be found with investigation, but when I last played through this, it was wholly unnecessary. We'll bump up scholarship instead, since that bumps up our persuasion skill. And starting discipline. So, Auspex, which is basically like a see enemy auras through walls ability, useful when you're sneaking around. Celerity is your super speed. Presence gives you an unnatural fear, which essentially reduces enemies' combat abilities. We'll go with Auspex, since we'll want to understand where enemies are as we're creeping around. Anyway, we are literally me. Let's get going. Yeah, celerity, if it kept with the books, makes you pretty silly. Yeah, there are some pretty interesting builds, late-game builds for Toreador. In fact, one of the bosses is a Toreador, and he's notoriously difficult.
I want to show you something.
Anyway, literally me finally had the courage to ask out that goth girl, and disaster ensues. Lesson learned. Oh, thank God. I was having this horrible nightmare. I went out with this goth girl and... Oh, shit. It's way worse. It's way worse than I thought. Ow! Yeah. This is what happens when you try to be outgoing. You should have stayed home. Yep, lesson learned.
My fellow kindred, my apologies for disrupting any business or interfering with prior engagements you may have had this evening.
Yep.
It's unfortunate
My
that the
vampire
affair that
career's off to a
gathers us
running
together
start.
tonight is a troubling one. We are here because the laws that bind our society, the laws that are the fabric of our existence, have been broken.
No,
As prince, I am within my rights to grant or deny the kindred of this city the privilege of siring. Many of you have come to me seeking permission, and I have endorsed some of these requests. However, the accused that sits before you tonight was not refused permission.
I like the detail that the
My permission was
characters
never sought
holding
at all.
you and your
We were
sire
caught
in
shortly
place
after the embrace
are
of
different
this
depending
giant.
on the clan you chose.
It
Like, if
pains
we
me to
chose
announce the
Ventru, it would be
sentence,
someone else standing behind
as
us instead of the
Up to
default male
tonight, I
Ventru.
considered the accused a loyal and upstanding member of our organization. But as some of you may know, the penalty for this transgression is death. Know that I am no more adjudicator than I am a servant to the law that governs us all. Let tonight's proceedings serve as a reminder to our community that we must adhere to the code that binds our society, lest we endanger all of our blood. Forgive me. Let the penalty commence.
Ooh.
Which leads to the fate of the ill-begotten progeny. Without a sire, most childer are doomed to walk the earth never knowing their place, their responsibility, and most importantly, the laws they must obey. Therefore, I have decided that...
This is bullshit!
So this is a rather important development here. You can just kind of see the gears turning behind the prince's head here.
If
Or his
Mr.
eyes.
Rodriguez would let me finish, I have decided to let this kindred live.
How magnanimous.
They shall be instructed in the ways of our kind and be granted the same rights. Let no one say I am unsympathetic to the plights and causes of this community. I thank you all for attending these proceedings, and I hope their significance is not lost. Good evening.
So, yeah, you're definitely seeing the age of the cinematics and the modeling work. But I think it's the overall directing of the scene that still kind of helps it hold together. There's a stiffness as the facial animations change. Yeah, you will not be rendered undeaded. Yeah, not yet, at least.
Tragic. My apologies. But you see, there is a strict code of conduct that all of us must...
But there's a pretty strong
must
hand on the wheel
adhere
here.
to
They're very
if we
doing
wish
some
to
very
survive.
precise movements with the hands, the
When
faces, the
anyone
expressions.
breaks these laws,
Exactly,
they
yeah.
undermine the well-worn fabric of our centuries-old society.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Understand
information
my
communicated about these characters visually.
Allowing you to live makes me directly responsible for your subsequent behavior. So, what I'm offering is not generosity, but the opportunity to transcend the fate woven by your sire. This is your trial. You will be brought to Santa Monica. There you will meet an agent by the name of Mercurio. He will provide the details of your labor. I've shown you great clemency. Prove it was more than a wasted gesture, fledgling. Don't come back until you do. Good evening.
Yeah, I needed a little change there. Kevin needed to spice things up just a little bit. He wasn't after the whole Baldur's Gate thing. He's like, I need a fresh start. I need to do me. I looked in the mirror, I didn't like what I saw, so I figured, let's start with the hair and work my way down. Anyway. All right.
What a scene, man.
Hey, kids, it's John DiMaggio.
Then they just plop you out here like a naked baby in the woods. How about that? Look, kiddo, it's probably a lot for you to take in, so, why don't you let me show you the ropes? What do you say?
All right, who are you?
I'm Jack. What's important is I'm offering help. You make it back from Santa Monica with your hide and we'll trade life stories, okay? Till then, I got about this much time. You in or out?
That overall attention to detail in the direction carries through in the conversations. Like, you saw how his hand motions were very specific, and you'll see that attention in even the more incidental characters throughout the game. There's a lot of attention put into the presentation, and that's a big part of what helps the story come through. It's just fun to play through. In fact, there's a lot of plot that happens in this tutorial, so we are going to play through it even though I know how it goes. So, okay, I could use the help.
All right. Why don't we, step out back here?
Let's.
Christ, it's stuffy in there, huh? This is much better. Now, we ain't got much time.
I'll probably
but I
turn the
figure
volume up a little
somebody
bit.
should fill you in on the bare
Quieter than the
bones
menu
stuff
music
at
made me
least.
think it would be.
Could save your hide. You look wobbly. You even had a drink yet?
Drink of what?
Oh, man, we're popping a cherry here. Ah, you're gonna love this. Alright, check it out. Blood, it's your new rack of lamb, your new champagne. Blood, your new fucking heroin, kid. Get ready, though, because, hey, it's never as sweet as the first time.
Okay, how do I do this? I'm a little new at this.
Well, down around the corner there, I saw this human. Poor SOB can't find his car.
I'm gonna need some specific instructions here, Jack. Walk me through it.
Alright. You go down there, casual like. You creep up on him, then bare those little fangs and feed. Don't worry if you weren't captain of the wrestling team or something.
If it's Fey Blood. Don't do Fey Blood vampire, kids. It's never worth it. Yeah, exactly. Very addictive stuff. Very brain damaging. You gotta stay in vampire school. Yeah, won't he become a vampire then?
Forget that comic book crap, kid. It don't work that way.
No, we don't need the sparkly. We're gonna have enough trouble staying hidden.
Though, and this is important, so listen up. Be sure not to drain them dry, okay? It might be hard to resist, but don't kill them.
Okay. Alright, I think I can stick with that. Alright, good. Quick save keys where I remember it. Alright, default is F. Where is this fella? Ah, here he is. So, this is something to keep in mind. The lighting in this game is very questionable. Like, you can see this dude is barely outlined over here, whereas you've got sources that aren't very clearly defined or don't spread very far. So, notably, this game does not have a flashlight, or at least not one that I'm aware of. There are some vampire modes that help you see. Auspex is one of them, but you're going to be doing a lot of feeling your way around in the dark if you're being stealthy. So anyway, let us introduce ourselves. Pardon me, sir. Oop. Hang on a second. Alright. Let's just take a sip here. Just top ourselves off. That ought to do her. Alright. You've been very cooperative, sir. Thank you. I'm done.
Ah, yeah. Hell yeah, you're feeling it. I can see it in your eyes. You're a born-again predator. Feeling that blood bubbling inside you, lifting you up. That's it, kid. That's what it's all about right there.
I don't know how I feel about it, but it does feel good.
All right, now, you got the blood, you're feeling all kick-ass, feeling better than your best day living, but wait, it gets better. All kindred, that's our word for vampire. All kindred have a few things in common. Things that set them right square above humans on the food chain.
Yeah, like what?
Like sharper senses, a body that can take a beating, and if you play your cards right, eternal life. That's no sure bet, but still, a chance at immortality's not a bad deal. And that's just for starters. Fringe benefits for joining the club.
Alright, so I'm gonna live forever?
Well, you can still be destroyed, but forget the books and the movies. Garlic, it's worthless. A cross? Pfft, shove it right up their ass.
We'll come back to that point later.
It catches you in the heart, and then it just paralyzes.
That we saw in the
Running
intro.
water? That's no problem. I bathe. Occasionally. Now, a shotgun blast to the head. Oh, that's trouble, boy. Fire? That's real trouble. Sunlight? Well, you catch a sunrise and it's all over, kiddo. Get it?
Got it.
Okay, now. The fuck is this?
Okay, shit's popping off.
You get inside here and head upstairs. Meet up with me. Just gonna go see what the ruckus is.
Alright. Okay, yes, there we go. In we go. Slightly concerning that there is no separate volume sliders for voice and sound effects. Actually, let me double check. Maybe maybe I overlooked it? No, there is not. Well, that'll be fun for dialogue and scenes like this, but oh well. Anyway. Alright. Oh yeah, we jumping puzzles time now. It was the mid-2000s, it was in vogue. Although it was also a thing in the late 90s. Alright, here we go. Yes, thank you, tutorial text. Thank you, free lockpick.
Come down here.
Jack beat us
Stay
in here.
away from the window.
He's Jack, of course he would.
Oh, it's a Sabat raid. The Sabat? They're, Christ, I was hoping to spare you this shit till later. The Sabat. Well, They're mostly mindless, bloodthirsty assholes. That's all you need to know for now, alright?
So what's up?
Sabat got wind of the gathering here, so they figured they'd raise a little
Yeah, this is
hell.
before White Paint Guy started his illustrious career. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, he made it big in the Uncharted series and took off from there.
No time for political rundown. Job one, get out of here alive. Sabat might be mindless, but they hit like a Mack truck, like raging savages. Nothing a fledgling like he wants to mess with.
Fair enough. What am I supposed to do now?
Shh, shh. Heads up. Back away.
There's the guy that executed our sire. I mean, I'm not going to say these guys had a chance, but maybe if they were aiming at this guy, they'd be a little better. So, yeah. We'll be seeing him again.
Dumb, frenzied Sabat bastards. Alright, we gotta vamoose out the back quick. I'll stay and keep a watch out. You get us into the office. The door's around the
He
corner
is
here.
something special. I forget exactly what. He's kind of a, he's some African vampire, I think. Or they speculate that's where he's from. I don't think they make it clear. He is the prince's bodyguard. Okay. Alright, time to lockpick. Here we go. Very clever little... I'm always talking about animation tricks and things that they do to avoid having to avoid more modeling work that is necessary. So yeah, they break the glass and then imply that Jack just jumped in here before we got in. A Negaraja, if I remember right, which is side flavor of the gym. Alright, interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here that isn't
Nicely done,
explicitly
though.
talked about,
Not
but
exactly an
is
angel in life, were you?
in the broader lore of the World of Darkness. And it's one of those things I didn't really appreciate at the time, because again, this is kind of my first introduction to the series, but made more sense on subsequent playthroughs.
Cool. Now, if you want a lesson on how really not to act, take notes from those Sabat assholes. You're a big bad vampire. Yeah, great, congrats. Now keep it to yourself. You go roar and you beat your chest, and that's what you can expect.
Wait, I still got that list of people from high school. Why not?
It's the same reason you don't let humans see you feeding. It's why the wolf doesn't want the sheep to know he's there. It's also why you don't go juggling dumpsters or outrun the 815 from Sacramento, and it's why you didn't know any of this when you woke up this morning.
Ah, I get it.
Keep our secret secret, and you make things easier on all of us. We're living in the age of cell phone cameras. Fuck-ups ain't tolerated. Makes sense enough, right? Well, it ain't a casual thing for a fledgling like you.
Yeah, that'd be an even bigger problem these days. But what could happen?
That party back there with the guy in the suit and the McGilla gorilla? The assholes that put your sire to death?
Nagloper.
That's the
Okay, yeah.
Camarilla.
That actually sounds familiar. I think that is what he's supposed to be.
Like this one.
Alright. Camarilla, so they're like the vampire good guys?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think some other time, maybe. I like to let people form their own opinions.
Ah, interesting. Alright. So what's next?
All right, now don't worry, because I know the area a little. And you know what? I'm glad we're in this situation, you and I. It illustrates a point. You gotta utilize your surroundings.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
You do what you gotta do. Theft, destruction of property, breaking and entering. These will be the least of your sins before the night's out. So look around here. We gotta get out the back there through that magnetically sealed door. There must be a key someplace.
Alright, time to look around. Time to put my perception to use. Alright, this is just telling us about the different areas here. The gun icon means it's a freeform combat area. The mask icon means you are allowed to defend yourself, but obvious use of vampire abilities will get attention. And the E there is Elysium, which means we can't do anything except for certain disciplines while we're lockpicking and such. No combat or disciplines are allowed. That's basically purely for dialogue. Okay. Alright, yeah. Breaking the Masquerade can carry dire consequences, such as the unwanted attention of vampire hunters. After 5 violations, your game is over. It is honestly pretty easy to avoid violating the Masquerade. The really only The only masquerade areas are basically just big public areas where you're not going to see a lot of combat in the first place, and there's not a lot of need for your more overt vampire powers. It's more about making sure you feed discreetly. And, okay, here we go. Computers. Alright. So, right, Control-C is hacking. So I like this. The computer interface is basically... Oop. Computer interface is me punching the monitor. That is very much a me thing. Oh, shit. Okay, hang on a second. I didn't mean to do that. How do I get back into first person? There we go. So yeah, I really do like this tutorial sequence, both as an introduction to the world, because our character is new to this, and Jack is an excellent source of general information, and as an introduction to gameplay and the overall things you'll be doing. So yeah, there's a note here we can use. Password is Chop Shop. Or we can just hack stuff. So, safe. And again, I like this interface. It's just like this pseudo-DOS thing where you're just typing in commands, and it looks very grounded and crunchy. But anyway, this is within our hacking abilities, so we can get the password. That opens up the safe. And there's our key card.
There we go. Now take that key card and head out the back. I'll meet you out in the alley there. I'm gonna check out things from topside.
Alrighty, Roo. Alright, let's motor. Yep. I like how we can hear the gunfire even though there's no particle effects there. Jack, fortunately, is an old hand at this. Alright, so this is demonstrating how injuries work and how our health works. Aggravated damage is a serious concern. And one thing the game doesn't really... Yeah, he fucked him up with celerity. Pretty much. Jack, I believe, is a Brujah, so he moves quick and hits like a truck. But in any case, this is a serious problem. Aggravated damage comes from fire and some supernatural attacks. If you have even a sliver of that, it affects your overall health regen and not just the amount of aggravated damage. So, very important to watch for that. Very important to heal it up when you can. Fortunately, we've just been shot, so that will heal in a reasonably short amount of time.
Fucking waste of unlife, these sabatos.
Oh, yeah.
You get winged?
Very much
Hey,
fits with the motif
look
he's
at
got
them
going.
potholes. Those will close up soon enough. Better feed, though. There's someone down the stairs here. It's not the freshest catch, but he'll do.
What's the difference? Blood's blood, right?
Well, when it comes to feeding, it's quality blood you're looking for, not the quantity. Bums and lowlife don't pack the same punch that a healthy, well-bred human will. Juice bags with a pedigree. That's the good stuff. But you gotta take what you can get. You ever had a PhD, kid? Ooh, that's good stuff.
I'll keep that in mind.
Remember what I said, though. Don't kill them. At least not the innocent ones. You're a monster now. Make no mistake. One of the damned and the fallen. You need to hold on to every last shred of humanity you have.
We're literally told to eat the rich. Exactly. The more money they have, the better they taste.
An innocent's an innocent. You kill one.
It's like a
even
seasoning.
worthless bum, even by accident, and it's gonna cost you a piece of your own humanity. Bring you closer to that beast you got welling up inside you.
The beast? What exactly does that mean?
The beast, it's always there, waiting to take over. When it does, it's like a wild animal wearing your skin. Desperate, scared, reckless. He'll do anything to survive, and it's you that has to deal with the consequences.
So this is a gameplay element, and this is something that the unofficial patch touches on. Humanity shifts basically affect how much damage you can take before you frenzy. It's kind of an invisible variable, but it is something that is... It can spring on you if you're in heavy combat and you're taking a lot of damage. You'll basically go berserk and start running towards the nearest enemy and attacking, or just doing random things to possibly escape. And it is not always advantageous. Some builds can leverage this, like Gangrel I think is specifically weaponizes your ability to frenzy, but for a lot of characters it's a big problem and something you need to keep in mind. So keeping your humanity high, regardless of your build, is generally a good idea.
I said innocent humans. If some asshole levels a 12 gauge your way, you drain him, skin him, and bash in his skull. Self-preservation is a vital part of humanity, after all. My favorite part, in fact.
Alright, I can agree to that. I think I follow.
The only way to fight the beast is to keep in touch with your humanity and don't go hungry.
Exactly,
Fine
yeah.
line.
There's a monster in all of us, and the more we
All right,
feed
now
it,
go feed.
the less contained in our
Careful.
skin it is.
He's gonna drain fast.
Alright, back in a minute. Alright, just gonna take a drink here. Draining innocent humans will give you penalty to your humanity, so this is properly tutorializing the stuff he's saying. Again, it's a very effective introduction to both the rules of the setting and the mechanics of play. Just, pardon me, sir, gonna take a nibble here. So you can see his meter goes down really fast. And
Not
back
quite
up
as
again.
good, huh? You could do worse. There's some rats down the way. You think I'm kidding? You can survive feeding on animals if you can stomach that kind of thing.
Nuances between being a vampire in WD world and dealing with staying human is a fascinating idea. Made for a lot of interesting RP sessions. Yeah, like, I could see this getting its hooks in deep if I had discovered it earlier. I think I saw some of the threads between my
Well,
teeth.
give it a try.
I'll think about it. So yeah, if you want to, you can feed on rats for a single point of blood. This does not heal you. They are everywhere, however, and sometimes there will be emergencies. However, as outlined in the restrictions, my character will not be doing this. Notably, I believe Ventru cannot gain blood this way. They are a bit too picky with their tastes, and will avoid doing so at all costs. Oop, wrong button, sorry. Okay, this is going to throw me off at some point. Interact is E, and feed is F. At some point, that's going to cause me to feed on someone I mean to talk to, so keep that in mind.
Just couldn't bear it, huh? It's okay. Polite kindred society looks down on that kind of thing anyway.
I can see why. I'm not down with rodent myself.
Keep it
Yeah, I
down.
love rats. They're
Got
cute.
someone around the way.
They're intelligent.
Not too much of a threat by himself, but you never know if there's more in shouting range. You're gonna have to sneak past.
Oh boy, a stealth tutorial.
The building across from us with the garage door. There's some double doors on the far side. I'll meet you inside. Just stay low and stick to the shadows, and don't let him see you.
I'll do my best. See you in a minute.
All right, go.
On it. Okay. Now, you see this meter over to the left? That is a combination of light meter and, I think, general awareness. The number on the top goes from 0 to 100. I think that's the, I forget exactly what it represents, but basically it is how detected you are. The light meter over there indicates how well hidden you are. It works kind of like the light gem in Thief or the light meter in Splinter Cell. The problem is this game has very questionable definitions of what constitutes light and shadow. And awareness in general is just finicky as hell. So let's save, because it's very easy to get thrown off by this. Now you can see here, we are in a well-lit area, but we move under the light here, and that pops up reasonably well. But over here, ostensibly in the shadows, there's not as much of a drop-off as you'd expect. So you can't go by visual cues for what is considered light or darkness. Like you see, if we get over here, that does fall off considerably, but an inch to the left, or actually an inch backward, there we go, and it just shoots up dramatically. So this is very much a game where the visual cues for stealth are off, and you kind of have to rely on direct observation of the enemy and keeping an eye on your gauge. Fortunately, Auspex gives us an idea of enemy auras, which makes it a little easier to notice enemies. Fortunately, mine's pretty short range. Yeah, you can see that guy through the boxes here. Yeah, you can see the number going up and down and like spiking periodically. We're at 100 right here, which I think means we'll be spotted instantly if it's got line of sight to us. But we should be able to be okay if we back off right away. Alright, nothing particularly Kevin-like yet, although I did notice that since interact and feed are very close to each other on the keyboard, I will probably be doing one or the other without intending to. Anyways, stealth tutorial passed.
Here. Seems that shovelhead outside just got separated from his pack. He's wounded too. Go take care of him.
Yeah, Auspex is actually pretty useful if you pump some points into it. If you're making a stealth build, but you're not going like hardcore Nosferatu, which actually gets like invisibility and such. What makes you think that?
The Sabbat, you see, they don't have the most rigorous training program. In fact, that poor sod is lucky if he knows he's a vampire.
How could that be?
He's probably just turned and beaten over the head.
That's the other thing. Nosferatu significantly changes how the game plays. You just can't interact with the majority of human characters in the game. Sounds good. I got a little frustration I need to work out.
He is a vampire, so be ready.
Alright, time for an unarmed tutorial.
Go get him.
I'm on it. Alright. So this is just telling you how the stats work. We can block using tab. I'll try to remember that. H is holster. Now, let's go boxing. Have at thee, villain! Yeah, very easy tutorial fight. Far more so than sneaking around was. Humanity is overrated. Path of metamorphosis is where it's at. Well, some people leverage their humanity in different ways. But anyway, yes. We have a melee weapon here. So, interesting detail here. Melee is entirely in third person, whereas range, you can freely switch between third and first person. Like, if you pull out a, if you switch to your fists, or you pull out a, hang on a second. I believe we can hotkey these. Very finicky controls on this. Oh yeah, so if we holster like that, that preserves our melee weapon. So yeah, the second we pull it out, or just click attack, we will automatically move to third person, unless we have a firearm. The third person shooting for guns is very janky. Don't do it. We will need first person for that. Anyway, back inside to continue the tutorial.
That's that. Sounds like you got another pack moving in, though. The Sabbat are going all out. Better head underground, avoid stray bullets.
Right on, let's do it.
Alright, head down into the basement through the grate in there. Keep that tire iron handy. I'll be there in a minute.
Alright, now up ahead is an interesting tutorial that varies depending on your clan. This teaches you about vampire abilities. Here we go. Yep. Okay, ladders, very janky in this game, as was common in Source Engine games. But yeah, the tutorials here will be tailored for your... Oh, what the fuck? Okay, so this is new. This was not in the original game. This is almost certainly something that was added by the unofficial patch. So, combat's not the only solution for sticky situations. You can also use your feats and disciplines in dialogue. When you're able to do this, your responses will show up in different colors. So this is indicating the different forms of dialogue you can have that are different flavors of persuasion. Well, you know, small p persuasion, meaning the different ways you can get through a dialogue with a special option. Anyway.
Stop! You! Just stay back. Keep your distance.
Okay. Alright, let's talk to this guy.
Now, who the hell are you? You involved in all this? Because I'm gonna radio this in, and SWAT will be all over this place.
Involved is a bit... involved is one word for it. Now, I find it interesting that there is an option for what appears to be dementation, because it's got the, like, janky text that is for Malkavians. That's special options to convince people with your vampiric powers, but that's not something I have, so it's a little interesting. Yeah, screams at the legibility of those texts. You can tell this feels added. This feels fan added, which is Anyway, if the SWAT comes in, they'll drive down the gunman down here. You want that?
No. Well, I left my radio.
Dominate. That's it. It looked like a dominate, but I know the Malkavians get that special options like that as well. Look, I'm just trying to escape. Is there another way out?
Yeah. Okay. All right. This way. This will lead us up to the warehouse. We can maybe sneak out that way.
Yeah, you go ahead and do your police officer stuff. Sure, this will go fine. Oh, fuck me, I lost humanity for that. Shit. Okay, well, lesson learned. Anyway, now for a proper tutorial. So I believe this will... Okay, this is our stealth kill tutorial. So, sneaky, sneaky. Tire iron in hand. This is a fun little detail. You'll get different kill animations depending on the weapon you have. So yeah, we use a tire iron here to break this guy's neck. We will be giving the choky raw burst to a non-zero number of people. Oh, hi, Jack.
Sounds like the Sabat's getting scattered. I'm gonna keep an ear to the ground. Be careful going forward here. Could be a whole mess of them holed up.
Great. Just my luck. Alright. Yeah, so here's the discipline tutorial. So yeah, every clan gets their own unique disciplines. Toreadors are basically a combination of speed, awareness, and combat buffs. So not direct manipulation of other people, but, Alright, so... Blood heal... Yeah, so not direct manipulation of people, but good stuff for combat and navigation purposes. Anyway, blood buff is handy because that bumps all your stats up to maximum for a short period. It's a big blood cost, but it's very handy for, say, picking a lock open. Less useful if your stats are already at maximum, but a good thing to keep in mind. Okay, so... That's those... Yeah, you see it already wore off, so... Handy for short bursts of activity. Anyway, right. Second sight that allows you to see the auras of others. Celerity is supernatural speed. Presence is inspiring fear and awe. All discipline options use the same font. Interesting. Okay, yeah, it's been long enough that I don't quite remember that. Anyway, Auspex, as we demonstrated before, lets us see auras through walls. And that'll tell us when this fellow's back is turned. Perfect, perfect. Ah, shit! Ah, I turned just in time. So yeah, melee combat in this game is going to be a chore for a while. So we will want to maximize our... Oh, hey, Jack.
I think they're clearing out.
We will want to maximize our discretion.
Until we know the score, though. Head through here. Come to an elevator around the way.
I'll meet you there.
Don't let them catch you.
No problem. Alright, next room. Alright, presence. This will be a handy little equalizer. This inspires fear, which makes enemies less effective. So, where are you? Auspex. Here we go. Presence. Alright, so you can see the little icon appear over his head that indicates he's affected. It's not much of a buff at this level, or just slightly taking the edge off of combat and making it less accurate, although at melee range is less of a factor. Unless you're specifically a combat build, a general rule of thumb is to not get in melee combat unless you really know what you're doing. There are some early game fights that will cause serious problems for you. Anyway, next room. Alright, celerity is supernatural speed. So this is an interesting detail. Use of celerity levels 2 through 5 is a masquerade violation. Do not use it in masquerade areas. Again, not something you'll have to do very often. But this will basically let you move around very quickly. It's not quite bullet time, but it's close in terms of function. Yeah, i.e. any fight involving 2 or more enemy characters. Yeah, don't go zoomies in a place where it makes no sense to do zoomies. Exactly. Alright, here we go. So yeah, it does kind of function like bullet time. A very minor version of it here. Later on, with more points into it, it's much more effective. Getting wrecked here. There we go. Alright. That takes care of that. Celerity definitely lasts longer, though. Handy, that. I believe there's a way to voluntarily end these things. Let me just double check. I gotta refresh my memory on the controls here. End all disciplines, F8. There we go. Alright. Oh, I think we get another stealth tutorial. Although I note that the Field of Stars hasn't gone away from Celerity. Okay, there we go. I think it finally ended. Alright. Who's up for a physics puzzle? Oh yeah. Sabbat vampire up ahead guarding the exit. Crouch, find an object you can pick up, throw it away from the guard to distract him. So... Alright. Ah, shit. Yep. This, they're gonna reset until you get it right, unfortunately. You need to be very careful. Alright. So there. Fortunately, he's gonna go check out that can of tuna. Sneak on through, close the door.
Fucking humans.
Done and done.
Gangbangers protecting their turf. Oh man, I'm here thinking it's Sabbat moving up in here. It's the fucking locals about to take one for the hood.
So what do we do?
They've probably seen too much. Here, take this 38.
I hear you,
Fucking
Ivory.
shooter, but a few shots in it will take down a human.
Thanks.
Well, I'm gonna want it back, so don't go die and lose it. I don't use guns much. They're noisy, they're clumsy, practically useless against vampires, but still, a kindred's gotta keep up with the times. And in modern-day Los Angeles, that means coming strapped.
Alright. Early game guns suck. It's a while before you get anything useful, so a firearms build is more of a mid to late game thing.
Well, yeah, some are more lethal than others, of course. Watch out for those shotguns. Ouch, those things can smart, I tell you.
And we'll be a bit hard up for ammunition anyway, so it'll be more of a situational weapon. Again, we're going to be trying to avoid combat as much as we
Can't have
can.
them running their mouths about any of this. I gotta make sure there's no stragglers around outside.
Alright. Now, one nice little detail, you actually continue regenerating health in conversation. Other activity stops, like combat and such, but you can keep healing while you're talking to someone. So if you need a breather, it's not a bad idea to let a conversation run long. It's a little like Alpha Protocol, where your cooldown timers continue to tick down even if you are talking with someone. Anyway... So, yeah, we are J.C. Denton at the start of Deus Ex level of accurate, meaning not at all. So, let's take a shot at this thing here. Alright, got one of them. Yep. Ah, locked. Unfortunately, not the kind of lock we could pick. Topside we go. Does it? I think there's two guys in here. There he is. Oh, shit. I didn't mean to do that, but, whatever. Done. They're back for a ride. I didn't even see that. That's cool. Alright, piece of cake. Now, they drop their weapons. If we're quick, before the scene ends, we can turn around and grab those. So, let's talk to Jack. We'll give him his gun back.
That's it, kiddo. Just like that, and it's all over. Everyone slinks back to their corners of the city for the night.
That's it? It's all over?
Until the next night, when the Camarilla finds some way to strike back. Parry, dodge, spin, and all that, and so on, and so on, and so on.
I'm already getting a headache.
Well, to be honest, you came at an interesting time, let's say. The Camarilla, the Sabbat. Now, in L.A., these are the new kids on the block. There's already plenty of kindred had stakes down in California long before them. Now, we got every ancient kindred rivalry playing out all over the city. A lot of tension out there. A lot of fear. A lot of jittery, high-strung predators clinging to their little pieces of eternity.
Huh. You're losing me here, Jack.
Oh, boy. Oh, I think they're looking for you outside. Guess you got a cab to catch. Was hoping to fill you in on a little bit more, but... ah, hell, you'll figure it all out.
I like the implication that our ride somehow knows we're here. So yeah, this is definitely a patch thing. Thanks to a persuasion option, we can keep his gun, but yeah, we'll just give it back to him.
If you make it back, stop in at the last
Bit
round.
one right here. Oh yeah.
I'll fill you in on the politics. Now that's the stuff that'll kill you. Good luck.
All right. Tutorial complete. We are now a fully functioning. We are now an armed and fully operational vampire. We even got experience points for that. Nice. Alright, so now we're in Santa Monica doing work for the prince in payment for sparing us. And he's hooking us up with a guy named Mercurio. Ah, Lacuna Coil. Excellent. We'll be hearing them. Now time for the most important character in the game.
Hello, LA. You're up way past your bedtime, right?
Oh, the Deb of Night, I missed you. Alright, we'll take the blood pack here. We got a couple to start with. We'll have to scrounge for more.
The only girl who will spend the night with you.
Operational is subjected with Kevin. This isn't VV. Well, you know, VV has a voice that belongs on radio, let's say. There are a few items in here we can sell, and since they belong to us, we will sell them.
So, who do I have the pleasure of speaking to?
Hi, Deb. This is, Vigo.
Yeah, there's a lot of side material and stuff on the TV that is just fun to watch and gives a lot of flavor to the world. So you get a lot of weirdos calling into a late night talk show, some of whom go on about vampire conspiracies and such, and there's like political advertisements. This is an extremely 2004 game in terms of its attitude. Vivi has a lot of things. She sure does, Ivory. She sure does. Okay. Hey, the password for your computer is Sunrise. Keep the cash in the drawer. It's yours. I dropped you an email with my address. Come over after you get settled in. Mercurio. And we also have this on our desk here. At your convenience, please come and visit me in my home downtown. I leave this to guide you. Dark blood, our curse, alight this verse. Such power I sense in one so young. Come find me where burns the mystical sun. M. Strauss, Tremere Regent. So yeah, a very poetic description of a place we'll find when we get downtown. But Strauss was actually in the opening cutscene, along with most of the other important characters in the game. We will definitely be seeing more of him. Yes. You gotta watch that browsing history. You gotta make sure nobody else notices. Anyway, so we got some pocket change here. And we got a very 2004 laptop. Email. Sunrise. I do like that you actually type out the code here. Again, this is a very clunky interface that would have been dated for the time, but still gives it kind of a unique feel here. Anyway. So, email for Suckhead. That's us. A reminder. From LaCroix, the Mercurio will contact you when you arrive in Santa Monica. Waste no time in meeting with him. So, next email. Dang, it's big, you know. Penis enlargement. Watch the girls come running. Call today. 1-800-555-STICK. Thank you so much, Hung Low Trojan Bot. I'm glad you're convinced for me. I'm glad you're concerned for me. Oh, PC interface. I hear you, Ivory. You'll show them one day. Anyway, Kilpatrick's crime pewter. So, looking for that lazy-ass ex-husband who's laid down his alimony payments? How about that jerk who knocked you up? Look no further. With Arthur Kilpatrick's amazing crime pewter, you can find almost anyone with a record, and these days that's just about everyone. So come on down to Arthur Kilpatrick's bail bonds. If you got the deadbeat, we've got the technology to find them. Next. So, from Mercurio, hey, welcome to town. Come on over to my place once you get situated. We'll talk about what you'll need to get the job done. I'm going to pick up explosives right now, some astrolite. I should be back by the time you come over. I'm at 24 Main Street, number 4. Walk to the end of the alley. My building is the next one on the right. Alright. And now we get a mystery email from a friend. The game begins. A pawn is moved. Fantastic. Alright.
You'll swear it's the best you've ever had. You love the talking baby movie, and the talking pig, and even the talking car in that show. You know the one I'm talking about. But now prepare for the most hilarious talkingest normally mute object yet. He's Steve Cash, a New York banker and recent whittler down on his luck.
And 10 makes 100. Here's your money, ma'am.
Ma'am, I happen to have a glandular problem. That's it. I'm withdrawing all my millions from this bank.
Cash! She's an ATM machine with the soul of his dead wife.
Something familiar about this ATM machine.
I love you.
Wow, those marketing guys are geniuses.
Together, They're learning to make the most of their special situation.
Oh,
So that
God.
girl from accounting used me today.
Really?
She wasn't like everybody else. When she pushed my buttons, she was very gentle.
Oh, honey, if you don't stop, I'm gonna have to make a deposit.
God. I love the radio in this game. It's dumb in its rules. We also have TV we can watch, and there's only just one channel, the news channel, but some of this will be plot relevant. They will be covering some of our antics as we
Three creatures
proceed.
thought to be some form of giant octopus, though marine biologists that have examined the monster have commented that they have never seen anything like it in the cephalopod family before. They speculate that it could be from a yet undiscovered family of sea creatures. Actor Ash Rivers is lucky to be alive after his car crashed into the gate at Parasite Studios earlier tonight.
Pay attention to
Witnesses
this.
say that they were shocked when the Negative Zero star emerged unscathed and apparently unfazed by his high-speed accident. Rivers' agent released a statement stating that Rivers' crash was due to a mechanical problem and that the studio is not pursuing legal action against Rivers for the trademark gate's destruction. Miraculously, this is the second crash Rivers has escaped unharmed in the last year.
I wonder how that could be. It's a mystery. Absolute mystery how this noteworthy, influential celebrity escapes two very deadly car crashes without being harmed. More on that later. But yeah, it's a fun little bit of reactivity that notes the things you do throughout the game and gives a background air of things happening as the plot progresses. Okay, what do we got here? Carnival of Death. Gruesome remains found on the pier. Police baffled. So there's another quest thread we'll be dealing with later. There's a lot of stuff in this game that builds out the world in a way that encourages exploration. It's not a geographically large area you explore, but it is dense. There's a lot of mystery and side stories you don't necessarily have to engage with, but is there for the curious. Anyway, here you go, buddy.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, my true greatest enemy, doors and narrow hallways. Oh, God. Yeah, the physics in this game are going to be an enemy at several points.